I've always been interested in self-improvement, this idea of constantly improving, constantly progressing in every area of my life. It's always compelled me, it's always fascinated me, but I always had one main problem with self-improvement, and that was that it had no answers. This constant pursuit of improving my ability to lift heavier weights, communicate better either through writing or through speaking, to be more confident, to love better, to make more money, there seemed to be no end or reason to any of it, and basically I kept running into problems to which I had no answers. However, it wasn't until I realised that the answer was right in front of my face the whole time, and likely the answer is also right in front of your face. It's something that we're all chasing, yet we will never achieve unless we dedicate conscious thought and effort to its achievement. And the thing is, it's the answer to everything. Every worry, every doubt, every problem, every concern, every challenge you've ever faced. The answer is self-mastery. Now, self-mastery always seems sort of like daunting when you first hear it, because it's sort of like general. It sounds quite general and vague, and it leads to constant questions like, how the fuck do you master yourself? What is self-mastery? Well, again, the answer to that question is something that can only really be discovered with conscious thought and effort put into its discovery. Luckily for you, I've already been there and done that. So, self-mastery, it's actually rather simple. It is simply, drumroll please, mastering your mind. I told you it was simple. So the next question that always arises after people discover what self-mastery is how the fuck is it the answer to everything? Well, let me explain, but first you need to understand what life is, or more specifically what your life is. You see, your life is a result of two things. Your life is a result of your thoughts, and your thoughts are a result of your mind. They dictate how you perceive the world, the limiting mindsets and beliefs you have, and the opportunities that you see out in the world, and the opportunities that you see fit for you. When your thoughts are out of control, when you don't have them mastered, anxiety spikes, the world is narrowed, and perceptions are limiting. The opportunities that you view out there in the world are few, and none of them are for you. But when you've mastered your mind, you're the boss of that inner monologue that is constantly bombarding your reality, and anxiety dies. The world becomes open, and your perceptions allow for limitless opportunities, and all of them are for you. You can take any of them if you want to. The second thing your life is determined by is your actions. Your actions are the sole driver of this ship that you're on that is going to get you to your destination, your goals. When your actions aren't conscious, or they're not aligned with this greater vision you have for your life, or aligned with your goals, you don't make progress. You either don't put in the work, or when you do put in the work, you spin your wheels and you never make any progress because your actions aren't aligned with where you want to go. And you end up burning out because you're not getting the results to feed, you're not seeing any sign of progress or results to feed back into your work, and you end up frying your dopamine, adrenaline and endorphin systems. Basically, you stay stuck, and likely you're regressing because the world is going to continue moving forward. We're moving forward while you stay here, so relatively you're actually getting worse. But when you master your actions, every action you take is aligned with this vision you have for your future, whether it's a long-term life mission or a short-term goal. And you don't waste time on things that are holding you back or that result in no progress. You put in the work and you get the reward. You make progress. You achieve your results, and you can do so in a way that the rest of the successful people in the world do, by living your life in seasons where you push, rest, push, rest. So you have intense periods of focus, basically like a monk mode, and then you relax a bit, still do work, still keep things ticking over, still make progress, but it allows everything to reset and for you to prepare for the next season of monk mode. So life is a result of your thoughts and your actions. When you chase self-mastery, you're chasing mastery of both thoughts and actions. However, you can combine them into mind as one term if you want to. But how is self-mastery the answer? Well, you see, any problem you have, and I mean any problem you ever have had or ever will face, can be solved by following 4 steps. The first step is understanding if it's in your control. If the problem isn't something you can control, you can't solve it. This leaves you with 2 options. Basically, either you spend loads of time and energy worrying about it and getting nowhere because you can't solve it, and you let your thoughts run wild and you get anxious and all this here, or you chase self-mastery and understand that if you can't control it, there's no point wasting time or energy worrying about it, because you can't do anything, so why worry about it? Or you don't waste time and energy trying to solve it because you can't control it, so you can't solve it. You just move on. However, you also understand that if it is in your control, you can solve it, but only if you do step 2, which is accepting responsibility. If you can accept that, okay, this problem might be my fault, might not be my fault, it doesn't really matter, but if I want to fix it, it's my responsibility. It's up to me to fix it. it. Because if you don't accept responsibility, how can you fix it? It's not yours to solve. Accepting responsibility is a crucial step in what I like to call mastering your life. You need to accept responsibility. Now, there's actually a brilliant quote by Mark Manson which distinguishes between the difference between fault and responsibility, because often people say like, oh, if it's not my fault, how can it be my responsibility? Well, let me read the quote. But there are also problems we aren't at fault for, yet we are still responsible for them. For example, if you woke up one day and there was a newborn baby on your doorstep, it would not be your fault that the baby was there, but it is now your responsibility to deal with that baby. So it's not your fault that the baby's at your doorstep, but it's now your responsibility to either leave the baby, adopt the baby, or give it to an orphanage, or do whatever you want to do. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. Step 3 is to view the problem as solvable. So the problem's in your control. You've accepted responsibility for it. Now you need to know and believe that the problem can be solved, because if you don't believe that it can be solved, it doesn't matter what actions you take, you're not going to solve it. When you master your mind, your thoughts and your actions, you view every problem that's in your control and that you've accepted responsibility for as solvable. And the final step, step 4, is take action. Doesn't matter how much you believe a problem can be solved, if you don't do anything about it, if you don't take conscious actions and steps towards solving that problem, you're never going to solve it. Action always wins. Action is king. You need to take action. Now you see, if you haven't mastered your mind, your thoughts and your actions, you're going to struggle with these 4 steps. You're going to struggle to see what problems are in your control. You're going to struggle to accept responsibility for problems. You're going to struggle to view problems as solvable, and you're going to struggle to actually take the actions necessary to solve those problems. But when you are chasing self-mastery, when you've achieved self-mastery, you are in control of your mind. You're capable of controlling your thoughts and your actions to make sure you perform all 4 steps and solve every problem you will ever encounter. Now, inevitably, this has got you asking, how the fuck do I achieve self-mastery then? And to be honest, that could be a whole other video. There's a ton that goes into it, but as concisely as possible, to achieve self-mastery, you need to put yourself through daily challenge. You need to show your mind who is boss every single day by doing something you don't want to do. So whether that is deep work, whether that is studying, whether that is hitting the gym, whether that is getting in an ice bath so cold you freeze your fucking balls off, or whether it's running. I recently started running because I absolutely fucking hate it, so I started it. I'm showing my mind who is boss. The inner bitch is loud, but I win every single time, and that's simply because I'm chasing self-mastery. You also need to apply conscious thought. At the start of your journey towards self-mastery, you can't let your subconscious mind take over. Your subconscious mind is always going to take the easy route, the comfort zone, the path of least resistance. That shit doesn't work for mastering your mind. You also need to rewire your mindset. You need to rewire your mindset's limiting beliefs and perceptions of the world and what you can do and what you can achieve. You need to build an iron mind that doesn't allow you to quit, and you need to master all areas of your life. When you're chasing self-mastery, certain areas will be in focus more than others at certain times, but that doesn't mean you can neglect all the other areas and let them slip away and regress. Okay, so if you're trying to master business, you can't let your fitness slip. You still have to do at least a bare minimum to keep it ticking over. You need to master all areas. Now, my friends, that is it for this video. As always, all my resources such as the Mastery Operating System, habit trackers, free productivity courses, all of that, you can find all that in the description below if you're interested. That is it for this video. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I will catch you in the next video.